Do I have to say that?
Welcome to episode 15. Yeah, maybe.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Bennetts Life podcast.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh yeah, I forgot my little bell. Today we are going to be talking about pulling the trigger. I don't know if that sounds bad. Today we're going to be talking about putting, what are we talking about today?
Pulling the trigger is probably the best way to say it.
Yeah. We're talking about, like,
not literally.
Let's say pushing the button instead.
So
putting
nuke people instead of shoot people.
Yeah. So instead of like just talking, we do a lot of like talking and planning and like this is what we want to do. But today we're actually talking about making it happen. So doing some actions instead of the planning, which is what we have done. Surprise.
Surprise. By the way, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. It was, when you're seeing this, it was probably Christmas 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hope you're going to have an awesome New Year. We're going to have to
We're
record
looking
another.
forward to New Year's.
We're going to have to record another podcast before New Year as well.
Yeah, we're going to do that today.
And if you're keeping up with us on our vlogs, right now, obviously, we're sat in our kitchen in Arizona. But right now, when you listen to this, we are in England.
Because we pulled the trigger.
Bang, bang.
And we bought us some flights. And now we're in England. Surprise.
Yes, we bought. She's asking me if I can say something because we haven't. Basically, by the time you're seeing this.
Oh, yeah, we will have.
I don't know if we'll have told them that part.
Yeah, we will.
Okay, on the 27th?
Yeah.
That's when this goes live.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, we have just surprised my family by coming to England. The point of pulling the trigger was I wanted to go to England. Casey wanted to go to England. We did it. We didn't tell them. It was a huge surprise.
We wanted to go, yeah, we wanted to go sometime because we hadn't seen his family since last Christmas. And we were like, well, like our plan was to go in 2018 for the summer. We were like, we don't want to wait that long. It's been already a year. It would have been like a year and a half by that time. So we were like, you know what? We're doing it. We're going for Christmas.
And we did it. It was, here's how it went. We spoke about it for like 2 weeks, okay? And I want to separate that from what we actually did, all right? Because I don't think the two are connected. We spoke about it for 2 weeks, and it's probably, I'll put it on my shoulders more. I'm an and an ahra. I'm like, should we do this? Should we do this? I don't think so. Not always, but a lot of things where I feel like the decision is going to affect my family. I always like to take my time to think I'm making the best decision.
He's an overthinker.
And I've found, that was the point I'm getting to, I've found that when I'm trying to make decisions that affect both of us and Bohdi, I spend a lot more time of it, and I inevitably choose the one that's the safest, and I'm sick of it, or at least I was sick of it, and I'm going to be trying to work harder on it moving forward. So we had a 2-week conversation of, hey, should we go to England? And we went backwards and forwards, and inevitably we came to the end, and it was like, it's a lot of money. I don't think we should do it. Let's use that money for something else, and let's continue on the path we're on.
But then we're like, it's just money. And if we didn't do things because of like money, like it's not like we were going to use that money to like change our life, like it would have
spent bills or whatever.
Shite. Yeah. So we're like, you know what? It's money, and family is more important than money. So.
And this is how it went down. I came in from work. I'd been thinking about it on the day, all day. And it was in less than 5 minutes, I'd went from, Casey, should we go to England, to us buying the tickets and going. And it was so refreshing for me. It was like,
yeah, he loved it.
My
He's
mind,
like, that was awesome. We should do this all the time.
my mind was at so much more ease. And it wasn't necessarily with the decision process. It was the commitment of making a decision.
Yeah, it was like, I want to do this. Boom, I'm doing it.
And I'm not saying, I still don't think all decisions can be made like that. It's sometimes a little scary to do that. But this is a big deal. We're not rich by any means. And this was a lot of money for us. So I knew it was a financial commitment. But I really wanted to do it. And Casey really wanted to do it. And I think when it comes down to it, you just have to do it. If you can't stop thinking about it.
And the reward, I think, was more important than the money. Like having this time with your family and,
And I keep saying to myself, and I say it out loud to Case, but really I'm just saying it to myself, like, we can always make money. You can always make money. You can go flip burgers at Burger King. You can go mop floors. You can go clean toilets if you have to, or you can work at best jobs in the world. But money, you can always make it if you're willing to work, But opportunity, memories, time, growing up, seeing family, those are things that you've got to take in the minute. And that's why this decision was so refreshing. Came in, Casey, you want to go to England? She's literally just said yes. Pulled the laptop up, here's the card, booked the flights. 5 minutes later, we bought our flights to go to England.
Literally, that's how it went down.
And it was, whoa, it was all that anxiety and stress you get when you're making a big decision. It was just whoop, gone.
Yeah. Because he didn't have time to overstress about it because I already pressed
bye
now.
And then to continue on that style of decision making, literally 2 weeks later, we planned to go for 2 weeks, and then
we still talked about it a little bit. Like, well, it was like we were in a situation that we weren't happy with. Like Chris was staying at home all day with Bohdi while I was at work, and then he was working in the morning. So we were like switching off in the morning. I would go to work, switch off in the evening. He would go to work.
We basically were single parents Monday through Friday and co-parented on the weekends.
And Chris was like, it's just not worth it. He was like, if you would have like loved this job and this was going to like be changing our life, maybe we would like stick through it. But we weren't going to change our life on that sort of money that we were making. And I did not love my job. So he's like, you know what? We need to make a change. And then so same thing. We were driving up in the car to Phoenix. We were having a little conversation about like our future and what we should do.
And then 5-minute conversation.
What's the conversation?
Huh?
You want to tell them about the conversation?
Well, I'm just saying, the conversation we were talking about our whole situation, what Casey was on about, and then it came to the conclusion of it, and I'm like, well, we're going to England. You want to just stay there for 3 months?
And I was like, hell yes, I do.
So she didn't think I was going to do it.
Because I always want to like spend more time in England. I'm always saying like we should live over there because we can travel more. Like all I do is hear about all these like vacations that his like family can go on for like
that's because it's £40 a flight. Yeah.
Right. So I'm like, this is the life that I want to have. Like I want to be over there so we can be a part of these like little mini vacays for like on the cheap, you know? And he was like, should we just stay in England? And I was like, yes, please. This is what I've been asking for. But so, like he said, I didn't think that he would actually do it because like a lot of these things he has to like think about for a long time.
Well, I go backwards and forwards. I'm not really one that wants to make a decision that's going to be detrimental to my family. And if it's a lot easier for me to make decisions for myself because the only person that's going to suffer if I get it wrong is me. Or at least that's how I see it. And if I make a wrong decision for us, then all of us pay for it, you know? Mm-hmm. And I don't really like that. And then anyway, I goes, well, let me see how much it's going to cost to change the flights. Yes, 3 flights. This is when we were originally landing. We'd like to push it back 3 months. And then over the phone, Casey's driving, so she can't hear the conversation. She's like, this is how much it's going to cost to change. I was like, okay, I'll change all 3 flights. Boom. Got my card out, did it then and there. She shit her pants. And she was like,
no, I was just like, I cannot believe you actually did that. Because that basically just like was like, for sure, that's what we're doing.
Can you sing? Can you say, hello?
Hello.
Can you say, my name is Bohdi? Show them how you spell your name. Say B, O, H, D, I. Bohdi. You want me to put trolls on for you? Okay, you finish. You go with this, kiss.
I'll be back. You just need to press play or start it back from the beginning. No, he wants to be on the microphone. Okay, so yeah, I was just in shock that he actually like did it, and it wasn't like a bad shock. Like I loved that. It was just
so different than what I usually do.
Right, different than what we have been doing, and it was like, okay, I guess I'm actually going to be quitting my job. And
yeah, and we never discussed that part of it, but that was like the consequence of me doing this. Like so. That part, I was like, oh, God, what did I just do? Because there's so many things that then, because of that one decision, got
we had to make all these changes. Yeah. Which I don't mind. It's just like, I mean, I don't think quitting your job is ever fun in a job that's like hasn't done anything wrong to you. Like if they were like jackasses, then I'd be like, F you. But, you know, anyways.
It didn't work. It was fun. Us. So we're actually speaking to you from the past. We're not in England today when we're recording this, so we can't say that we're having an awesome time. I'm sure we are, but we're not actually there, you know? Uh-oh. I thought Bohdi was about to grab the
yeah, so did I. So yeah, that was like so refreshing, and I'm so excited to be spending so much time with Chris's family and making such a big change in our life. Like that's what I'm most excited for, like just change, you know. We had been in this situation in Arizona for like 2 years, and we just needed, you know.
And for the not most of it, but definitely the latter half of it, we haven't really enjoyed the situation we've been in. Yeah. So this is a positive change for us, most certainly. And leading on to pulling the trigger, we eventually, excuse me.
No.
We've always said, since we've met each other, that we want to be in a business together.
How did you get this in your hair?
It's like, Mom, just pull it out. No. Sorry about these interruptions. If you're listening and not watching, our son has joined us for the podcast. But anyway, ever since we've known each other, we've wanted to be a stay-at-home family, I guess, or a work-together family. I'm starting calling it work-together family because stay-at-home family sounds like we're being lazy. And pulling the trigger again. We've spoke for months, maybe it's over a year now. Yeah, because we used to have a bus that we were going to do this with. We've spoke about becoming self-sufficient, self-sustaining, and building a tiny home, or at least converting something into a living space for us, so we didn't have to get a mortgage, and so that we owned our own place to live, and we never had to worry about a roof over our head. Well, one of the main reasons of coming to England is through the help of my uncle and my stepdad. They may or may not know this yet, but our plan is for me to basically apprentice under them and learn the skills necessary. I already have a few skills, but learn the rest of the skills necessary to become a tiny home builder. I've wanted to do this. I've lost count of how many times I've spoke to Casey about living like this and doing this, and she's been on board the whole entire time. But this is something that I really want to do, and I was never going to do it, I don't think. I think we bought the bus that time. It was super exciting, but we ran out of steam on it. Life got in the way. And
we ran out of money. It was like putting us so far in the hole.
Yeah, and it just wasn't the right option, so we got out of that.
And we didn't have a plan to make money on the road.
Yeah.
A good plan anyway.
And now we've shifted over continent, we've shifted over environment, and we've shifted over... we actually have a business plan for this. We have an idea of how it's going to be successful, and the skills that we're going to retain is going to allow us to make this into our work together family, and I'm super excited for it. But I was just saying, had I been left to my own devices, this would have been nothing more than a dream in my head of how I wish I was doing this and how I would do it. I'm always drawing plans of how I want them to look, the sizing, the wiring, how I want them, like all the fantasy stuff, all the stuff that can be done on pen and paper, like I do that all day long, every day.
Yeah, but now we actually have a plan on the physical execution.
Yeah, but now we're here, pulling the trigger. I'm going to learn these skills. We're building it. Maybe by the time you're seeing this, we've already started. I don't know. I doubt it. We've probably only been there 5 days.
Yes.
But the conversation's definitely begun. And over the course of the next 3 months, I'm hoping maybe you'll see it on this channel, or maybe we'll see it start a new channel for it. But we're going to be building a tiny home. And initially, it's going to be to learn the skills, what to do, how to make it better for next time, and then make a beautiful tiny home. We potentially going to live in it if we stay there to get for a long term, or we're going to sell it, or we're going to rent it out on Airbnb. And the grand scheme plan is to build enough of these where we can have a tiny home village, rent them out, basically like a little vacation spot, and people come stay at our tiny home village. And that's our long-term plan, renting them out, creating a vacation spot, hopefully by the coast, where people can come enjoy and just live the lifestyle that we want, that we love. But it all starts with pulling the trigger. First, I've got to learn. Then I've got to build, and then we got to start making the money from it. And I'm not going to learn and build by not doing anything.
Right. But in 2018, we're definitely doing more action and less talking.
Yeah, 2017 was just a year of, we should do this, we should do that. We talked about this, talked about that.
Yeah. And now, even if like maybe our actions aren't like the right one, like at least we're like making moves, So 2018 will be a totally different year for us of actually like, we already made the first one, so.
Yeah, shut up and do it. That's basically, that's the 2018 motto. Like, you want to do something? We're going to do it. We're going to take these risks, and we're going to reap the rewards and have to deal with the failures that come with taking risks and making decisions. Like, who's to say when you're watching the podcast in 3 weeks' time that we're bankrupt, we have no money, the trailer we bought snapped in half. We have to deal with any failures that come our way. But what about in 2 months' time? I'm like, we finished the tiny house.
And
it's
now
amazing.
We have a place to live here.
We got a place to live.
We have a place to rent out. We just
sold it for $25,000. Like, there is a big risk involved in this. I'm not saying it's for everybody. You need a good team. You need a good partnership like me and my wife. And you need to have similar desires for the end game, and you need to want to work with each other. Without it, it's not going to happen, or you got to do it on your own. And I wouldn't want to do this on my own. I wouldn't want to fly to England on my own, learn things on my own, deal with all the stress that comes with starting this little business.
Well, I think having like your family members who are entrepreneurs as well, like small business owners, like they're gonna be supportive, and they are gonna like help us out, which
and I definitely take after that line of thinking and that path. Like, I've run a small business here all year this year, 2017, in Arizona. Casey's got a small business that has been evolved into our tiny home business, and we're in the process of setting up another one that's going to help fund whatever we want to do with our kid in the future. We would tell you now, But we're not ready, so you'll find out when we're ready to do that.
Again, tune in for next week.
Yeah, but that's again something in the background. We're taking a risk and we're going to do it, and we pulled the trigger on it.
We got a lot of eggs in our baskets, hopefully in that they help us.
Well, it's this one that's going to make the difference. This is where the real money comes in. This is where the real skills are learned, and this is where, in the end game, when we're sat in our little tiny home porch, when we're 60 and 70-year-old, watching the sun go down over the sea with 20 of them. 10 or 20 houses around us and people all enjoying themselves in our self-sufficient community where everybody comes and enjoys themselves, then that's the dream. That's currently the dream, you know. And in order to make the dream a reality, you've got to take the first step. And we've made the first step, and I'm very proud of us for doing it.
Yes.
Because it's very hard sometimes to get me to step outside of my comfort zone, and that's kind of, I guess that's the lead kiss.
Bohdi Bear Bennett, come here, this way.
No, he's not going to do it. Oh, you guys nearly went over. But yeah, I guess we'll keep this short and sweet because our son is terrorizing us while we're here. But yeah, I'm very proud of us for making the first step. Every big dream has to start with something small, and this is that something small. And by something small, I mean we just spent all of our savings to come to England to learn how to do this. So it's not that it's not that small. So hopefully in the next podcast you'll see. Casey, please watch him on that lead.
What do you mean to do? Not be a part of this?
I'm just saying he's about the top of the camera. There we go. Get out of here, kid.
So, yes, but even if it doesn't plan out exactly how we want, the time spent there, I think, is priceless. So that's what I'm most excited for, spending time with family and like building like, you know, actual relationships, because this will be the longest period of time that Chris's family has been around us and Bohdi. So that's what I'm most excited for.
Alrighty, we'll wrap it up. We'll wrap it up there. That was our podcast on Pulling the Trigger. And next time you watch our podcast, so next week, I'd imagine the backdrop's going to be different. The setup's going to be slightly different because that podcast...
And we will be much, much colder.
Yeah, that podcast is probably going to be getting filmed in England. So, yeah, hope everyone had a great Christmas. Enjoy your New Year. Stay safe and subscribe.
We will see you next time.
Bye.
Ciao.